Hey guys, what's up? My name is Zine, and welcome to the TrollCraft server where some damage has been done to our volcano. Yeah, I spent a few hours the other night getting it, raising up the level of the volcano, and also working on the composition of it to what's included in it. Got it to where I was pretty happy with it, like the colors, the look, and generally. And then SSundee logged on. So he apparently thought that I had trolled his base by putting lava everywhere, and it turns out that was actually CaptainSparklez. I had nothing to do with it, but it does kind of stand to reason that he blamed me a little bit because I have been working so much with lava in the volcano. But yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of work to correct this, and also I'm going to need to get a little bit of revenge. Yes, he's I need to kind of let him know that certain things aren't to be messed with, and one of those things is me. So that will have to wait for another video though, because we have other things we're going to be doing today. First off, one of the things that many people have asked about is the scoreboard, and there's been a very specific reason why I haven't shown the scoreboard. And the reason is that it's kind of embarrassingly bad. Right? It's not good. And it was put together in the middle of a night, and kind of a last minute thing where we were just launching. In fact, the scoreboard wasn't even built when they first started the series, and so it was kind of a bit of a rush to get going. And so I didn't put the world's most thought into this. Plus, I'm not a Lua programmer. I can figure out most any programming language given enough time and stuff. I've worked as a programmer before, but Lua is not necessarily my forte, and all the nuances in open computers. So I pretty much just the way that it worked was one. Right now it's in a error, but we can fix that. No, we can't. We can't fix it at all. We need to go inside and reboot the computer because that's what you do. You find a computer, you turn it off, and then you turn it back on, or you hit that. Okay, so it started. So Open Computers is a entire mod that gives you a computer case. You have to figure out your graphics card, the memory, the processor, all the different things, and you even have to start out loading the operating system onto it from a disk into the hard drive and that sort of thing. It's one of those mods that it's like obviously made by someone who's fairly geeky, and yeah, which isn't bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of things that normal people don't necessarily care about, and yeah, I don't know how to properly describe that other than it's just that's all stuff that's like I get having all those, but almost you need to have a component that's just like here, do this if you want an all-in-one or whatever. But some people would say use ComputerCraft instead. ComputerCraft is a little bit simpler, but I know open computers slightly more, so it's what I've stuck to. And also for these big screens, I believe that the ComputerCraft doesn't have a equivalent. So, at any rate, back to it. So it's done in open computers, and basically you create a file that's a Lua file, and this is pretty much it that it goes through. The entire thing that this screen does is it sets up pretty much two or three different points. The first is it creates an array of the items that are going to be displayed. So this is just and if you don't know an array, think of like a matrix or something, but it's multiple lines of data broken off into sections. I don't want to get into programming, but this, if you care about programming, this is an array of data. And all I do is I set the line index to 0. I grab hold to the terminal and build up a component. I clear the terminal, which is the screen. I set the resolution to be big, and then this is a for loop, so it starts at the top of the array and displays each line. So as long as there's another line in the array, it just goes down a line and displays it. And so that's all it's doing, is just showing these lines right there. And it's really, really, really basic. And it will continue to do that until it basically gets input that is either my name or Kehaan's typed out. And that works about a tenth of the time. More often than not, it will dump out in an error, and I really haven't an idea why, but I also haven't spent 2 minutes trying to figure it out. Frankly, it's worked well enough that I haven't worried too much about it. But assuming that it is working and that it doesn't break, and that name is given, then it fixes the resolution and then drops back to screen. So when we have this open and we exit it, we run it, it will run the program, this is the like my interface, and then this is the actual screen. So it's just going through that array, just dumping it out and showing the what's in there. Really, really, really simple, basic stuff, and you should be able to see if you really wanted to make something like this, how I did it when we look at it. So if I open this back up and hit enter, sometimes it will actually go down, and this is where it's running properly. So if I type in my name, then it'll exit out of the program, fix the resolution, and everything's there. Like I said, most of the time it actually crashes out with a Lua error, and if that's the case, then it still has the really small resolution. So I have a secondary program that I can run as well that simply hooks on and fixes that. So those are the two programs that's in the entirety of the scoreboard, and what's involved in it is just running that, and it grabs that array. There's no sorting. I have to do that manually, and there's a million different ways to do this better. It was just done in again, late night programming on a language I'm not that familiar with a interface and API that I'm not that familiar with, and this worked. Call it good. But what's been happening, and what I want to fix, is that ever since I moved it from the lava basin, because I kept having to adjust it up when I would raise the level of the lava. When I rebuilt it up here, I pretty much just had to rebuild the whole thing. And it works fine now, but and as you can see, like, it's the right size. But if you see in SSundee's video, or really if anyone else has gone and looked at it as well, what's been happening is when everyone logs off, the server basically shuts down, and then someone logs in and the server reinitializes a lot of pieces. And it's not initializing with the full screen. And so you're getting a small text box, even though it's in the larger resolution, you're getting a small text box of the information right there. Let me see if I can include a clip here.
I'll show you soon, but Zine moved the scoreboard up here, and I don't know why it's small, but let's check this out.
So as you can see, it's not displaying properly, right? And I don't know why that is. I've rebuilt the exterior. Some of these were warded, so I took those off, but I couldn't tell you. It's built the exact same way. It's using the exact same components. Something about the location, something about any of the things. It could be any number of different criteria with just how it's initializing and what's going on. But this is kind of running out of steam, and it's been kind of hokey and broken anyway. So I'm wondering, and I'm thinking about, and what I want to do today is I want to replace this, or try and replace this, with a web displays. Now, web display is the mod that we've added. That's how they're playing all of these videos in game. You saw it with the diss tracks, you saw it with the rickrolls, etc. It allows you to play YouTube videos in game. One of the things that I like about it is that it will show a clear thumbnail, right? Even if it's not playing. So if I set a thumbnail right, it stands to reason that I should be able to make it so the display looks right, even if it isn't. So let's take a look and build a web display, and then see if how it looks with a thumbnail on there. So we have a quick screen built right here. Now, if I load in a URL for a embedded, then that should be everything that we need. And let's see. Okay, so it kind of does have a little bit of the YouTube portion up here. It shows that on there, and then the arrow and the play button. I don't know. I don't know whether I like this or not, because I could easily make a thumbnail that shows the screens and stuff, but I do have the play button there, which is a little bit of a problem, and I don't know how to fix that. Let's see. Well, I took the time and built myself a thumbnail and put it up, and I actually have it on YouTube now. Unfortunately, it looks like the play button is going to be a bit of a problem, so I don't know that we're going to be able to move to it. I'll have to continue. I'm probably going to have to tear down and rebuild this and just see if that works, if moving it works, really anything, because as you can see, the screen and everything is initializing fine. It's an error in the actual mod when it comes online from people being offline. But this was a fun idea, and if only the play button wasn't there, then I really think that we'd be golden, because of what even the scoreboard portion up there, like, that can be ignored, and the arrow, I don't monetize the video, so there shouldn't be ads. I guess when it finishes, that if they did play it, then it would go to like up next screen, which isn't really what they were looking for. But I do want to let you guys know, like the thing that I would have hoped for more than anything else in the world would have been for one of them to click the button, because I have the best audio file in the world all set up and ready so that if they happen to manage to click on that, it would play.
Oh, balls? Oh, balls. Balls? Oh, balls. Oh, balls.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
balls.
Go at it, Jordan.
Balls.
Jordan.
Oh, balls.
Yeah. That that might not be the best thing just with all this here, but I did like the idea, and if nothing else, at least you guys get to enjoy in that audio file that I have. That audio file was provided me by Kiwi Drawer, and I don't have any idea why she had it. I don't know when Jordan recorded that. I don't know if he'd remember it, but it would be great. So, at any rate, I guess this isn't going to work, but it was a nice idea and fun, and now you guys know how the scoreboard works and just how bad and embarrassing it is. And yeah, it could be done better. Yeah, but really, no idea why it is that it's deciding to be silly there. If someone knows open computers and feels like filling me in, then feel free to throw it in the comments, and we'll go from there. So. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is something that I haven't tried before, but I wanted to. Something a lot of people have complained about and have talked about is the fairness of SSundee playing less than CaptainSparklez. Now, I would maintain that it's an open schedule. There wasn't a pre-agreed upon number of episodes or posting frequency. So, to some extent, if not to a large extent, it's kind of a self-inflicted wound. And quite frankly, he does a pretty good job of keeping up. As you saw on the updated score, I haven't actually updated this with the latest, but I believe SSundee's at 65 points. He's tied with Crainer. So playing once a week, he's keeping pretty good pace with the other guys. However, he has not taken the lead for quite some time, and I know that a lot of people are kind of a little bit stressed out about that. So one of the things that I thought I might try out for the very first time is giving them a chance to spend points to buy things. And so with Crainer in particular, he has currently a couple blocks that are out of place for him. And I did this to troll him. He mentioned it. He wasn't quite as upset about it as I would have liked, although he has said enough things to me outside of game to know that it is pretty irritating for him, even if he's not making a big deal of it in game. So really, I look at that as a mission accomplished. But when he last trolled me, what I did is I came and he's talked about his Minecraft OCD a number of times. And so I just set a couple of blocks that were just slightly different than the rest. And then I warded them so he can't change them. And yeah, so those right now are on his screen, and I know that it bugs him every time he shows up. So my first thought was maybe I could give him a chance to pay me some points in order to remove those. Otherwise, I'll just leave him there. So yeah, let's put up a sign and see if we can't give him a little bit of an idea. And maybe I'm thinking like 2 points to remove the blocks. So. Okay, so there's that. Again, it's, hey, Crainer, I know those random blocks really bug you a lot. Just look at how out of place they are. Wowee! If you would like to get rid of those blocks and make it so you can fix them, then just let me know and I will do it. Love, Z. P.S. You will be charged 2 points on the scoreboard for my services. So that'll give him a chance to spend a couple points, and again, it's partly to act as a little bit of an equalizer. I don't have a deal for SSundee. Besides, I wouldn't give SSundee a deal anyway right now because mostly I just want to murder him, but not the point. But just again, finding a little bit of ways to bring, if they would like, they can opt out of it. But if they would like to spend a couple points and have something irritating fixed. So with Sparklez, I don't want to go into his base right now because it has Crainer's troll set up and it hasn't been revealed yet in Crainer's videos. So I don't want to like spoil any fun there. So I'll just go ahead and put the signs outside. He tends to notice signs up here pretty quick. And what I was thinking there was that we could offer him some modifiers for his bow. He just barely built a new bow and was a little disappointed on the damage. So I can offer him 2 points for 2 modifiers on his bow. And then we will go ahead and see if he wants to take that. Now, the thing is, the reason his bow isn't fantastic is because of the materials that he made his bow from. It's not that he ran out of modifiers, it's that he made it from materials that don't give him as good a stats as he could. So, if he does buy the modifiers, I'll give it to him, but I'll also tell him what he should have made it, or give him some clues on what he should have made the bow from in order to accomplish it better. Now, that would mean that he would have to re-level it, and I don't know if he'd want to do that, but we can at least give him a little bit of hint of, hey, here's where that all went wrong anyway. So let's get the sign set up for that. Okay, before I set up the signs, I wanted to get an idea of what I was talking about. I know it's a weird concept, but I wanted to have a little bit of an idea of just how big of a change this was going to be, so I could know what was valuable, what wasn't, whether I was making something overpowered or not. So I recreated to somewhat the best of my ability the arrows and shafts that he had. Now, the bow doesn't affect attack damage. It affects how quickly he can drop back and fire it off. So that's not as important, but it's the bolts that really make a difference. And I made a series of arrows, and his are like plus 22 damage, mine are plus 14. So obviously he either got luckier when he got the level ups, because with each level up you get random modifiers, so he got some, or he made it with a different material in the shaft or something like that. I don't know. I used blaze rod and manulin. I know that his arrowhead is manulin because that affects the name of the bolt. So I know I'm not that far off, but he did get more damage, so kudos to him there. But it shouldn't matter that much because the base damage additions are pretty static, as if I recall. I don't think their percentage changes with modifiers. They might be a little bit, but that just means that it'll improve him even more. But yeah, so mine are 14, equivalent to his, which are 22, I believe. So 14 versus 22, but adding in one modifier worth of nether quartz would take it to 16. So a modifier is worth plus 2 attack damage. That's not really that much. Now, I took those same arrows and going without the extra modifier, going from the 14 and changing the head out to the signalum, that makes it a plus 20. So that's a plus 6 right there just to make a signalum head on it. And then if you actually went to Enderium, it's plus 25. So that is a plus 11 change versus plus 2. So I'll give him a modifier and or 2 and see if I can't get him set up a little bit better, but I'll also tell him how to improve them himself, which would actually be the better route for him to go. So let's put these signs down and make him an offer that he might refuse. I don't know. I really have no idea where he's going to go with it. Okay. Hey Jay, I saw that your bow and arrows aren't hitting as hard as you had hoped. I might be able to help you out a little with that coming up short problem. How does 2 additional modifiers for your arrow sound? I can make that happen. I know a guy. Fair warning, he charges 2 points on the scoreboard. If that sounds good, then just say so. I have ways of knowing. Zine. Alright, so he should get that, and he can decide whether he wants to spend 2 points, and I will give him 2 modifiers, but in addition to the 2 modifiers, I will also tell him how to make them a little bit better anyway. So that should cover that all together. Oh, my poor Volcano. Well, the good news is the volcanoes are more powerful than anything man's ever come up with, so yeah, I think it'll triumph in the end. But you guys, I think that is the end for this episode. I still have plans to get back at SSundee and do that, so be watching for those videos as well. I'm thinking about putting together an advanced applied energistics tutorial. If you guys enjoyed the channels one and would like to see more of how to do kind of more interesting stuff with it, then let me know in the comments. But otherwise, again, as always, be sure you're following the main guys of the series. That's CaptainSparklez, Crainer, and SSundee. And be sure you subscribe them. Subscribe me while you're at it. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time we get a video out. So, bye-bye.